Good morning, everyone. It's been a common theme with some of my clients lately that they're just too sore. They don't feel like the stretch at the end of their fitness program is enough. And honestly, it really isn't. It's enough to help you get into the habit of stretching, but it's not enough deep tissue stretching afterwards to release all of that lactic acid and tension that you've built up during your workout. So what I'd like to do today is take you through the stretch program that I use. Now, I'm not a personal trainer or fitness professional, but I was a cheerleader for many years, and I was also a cheer coach for 6 years, and this is the routine that I used as a cheerleader myself and as a coach. And it's the same routine that I continue to use today. And it's allowed me to do heavy workouts with heavy weights and still be able to function and move the next day. So I'd like to get started. What I usually start with, because if you're doing your exercises right, you're using your core. And so I always like to start with getting in my core stretches first. So I'm going to take you through the program that I use, or the stretches that I've used. So I always start out, and I usually stretch for probably at least 15 seconds. I don't typically count. I allow myself to stretch till I feel my body sink into the stretch and open up, and for the muscle to actually release. Because if you're tight in your muscles, you'll notice the moment that your muscle actually releases into the stretch and opens up. And you'll feel your body sink into the stretch. And it's not something that I can truly describe to you, but trust me, you will know it when you feel it. And the goal is to look for that every time you get yourself into a stretch. And the next thing that I do is I put myself in child's pose, and I reach my fingertips as far away from my hips as I can get them. This allows me to open up my shoulders and my lat muscles. And sometimes you need to hold a stretch longer than normal, so counting isn't always the best and most effective tool. But to get you started, I want you to do at least 15 seconds for each stretch. And then I'll pull my body all the way to the left with my right hand over my left hand, and I'll stretch that shoulder and that side. I like to stretch all the way down, and you can feel this even in your obliques. And then just sink into that stretch and let your body do the work for you. And just try to relax. You know, for me, stretching is really the reward after a hard workout. And I really appreciate the feeling that I get. I actually feel relaxed. And one side will be tighter than the other. So allow your body to do what it needs to do. Sometimes one side needs a longer stretch than the other. And then, when I've completed that part, I'll get myself in a seated position with my legs together right in front of me. And I'll drop my head, chin to my chest, and I will drop my shoulders, and then I'll stretch out my neck. Sitting up tall, you should be able to feel this in your neck and down your spine. And then I'll release that stretch and I'll go over to the right, taking my chin down to my chest and opening up the left side of my neck. We have these strong muscles in our neck that run across the top of our shoulders and down around our shoulder blades into our latissimus muscles. And you really need to open those up, because if you don't, you're going to end up with knots there and headaches, which is what a lot of people complain about. Go ahead and switch to the other side. Make sure that you're dropping that shoulder. Now, one thing I want you to know, when you're stretching and you're listening to a trainer or someone who's guiding you through the stretches, and they're telling you what position to hold and where you should feel it, if you don't feel it where you should, move around. Don't be afraid to find the right spot for you, because even though we all have the same muscles, we don't have the same body composition. And so you will want to make adjustments that fit your needs. And one muscle group may be tighter than the other, so you're going to want to spend more time on it. After I've stretched out my neck, I stretch out my shoulders and bring my right arm across my body. I drop my right shoulder. Let my body sink into that. You should feel this across the top of your shoulder, and maybe even into your neck if your body is very tight. You may even feel this on the inside of your shoulder, in your chest. You'll feel this in your shoulder blade and maybe even down your back towards your spine some. And just relax and let that just open up and stretch. And when you're done with that side, I just go ahead and I take my arms behind me and I pull them up and I open up that shoulder a little bit. Not very long. And then I'll take the left arm across my body, drop the left shoulder, pull with my right arm towards my body, and just relax and let that muscle do the work. Let it stretch, let it open up. Just take a few deep breaths and enjoy the feeling of your warm muscles just relaxing. And then when I'm done with that side, I'll go ahead and I'll stretch back again, opening up my chest. Take a deep breath, let it out. And then here's where I get into stretching out my legs. Take my arms above my head and fold as far forward, as flat as I can. Use my hands around my feet. If you can't reach this far, just go as far as you can. And go ahead and just sink into that stretch. Even if you can't sink into the stretch because your hamstrings are so tight, do what you can. Do as much as you can today and leave the rest. I promise if you do this after every single workout, you will increase your flexibility and you will be able to get closer and closer for your nose to touch your knees before you even believe it. Some people who are very flexible actually need to use their feet and their hands to pull themselves down. If you are more flexible like me, you will want to do this, but be sure that you're dropping your head. Do not engage the muscles in your neck. Go ahead and relax and let your head just hang. You want to be stretching your hamstrings here. You should feel this across the back of your legs, across behind your knees, maybe even in your calves, up into your glutes. You'll probably feel this in your back, in your across your spine, maybe even into your shoulders. This is a really great stretch. It opens all those large muscle groups up. Okay, when you're done with that, you want to go ahead, sit up tall, and open up your legs, not wide. Don't open them up wide. The reason is because the wider your legs are open, the more you put strain on your knees when you come forward. You don't want to put that kind of strain on your knees and your hips. So if you can only open them as wide as your yoga mat, if you're using a mat to stretch on, then do that. and come as far forward as you can. Open up those muscles and relax. But if you're a little bit more flexible, open them up a little wider, because here is where you are going to stretch your groin muscles, the inside of your thighs. These are the areas where most women are the weakest, and they also struggle with the flexibility in their hips, because even though they're weak in those areas, those muscles are very tight. Your inner thighs are extremely tight because your hip flexors are very tight. So you're going to want to really focus on finding the right angle for your legs to stretch these muscles out. So go ahead and go as far forward as you can and just try to relax. Let those muscles stretch on their own. Let your legs open up. If you feel a pull in your knees, like I do, I'm very tight this morning, so I'm going to sit back up and I'm going to bring my legs in just a little bit, and then I'm going to go back into the stretch. Sometimes you have to make modifications. If you want to make progress, you need to take small steps every day. If you don't take smaller steps and smaller bites, you'll injure yourself. Even in stretching, you can injure yourself. So then what I do in this position, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open my legs back up just a little bit, and I'm going to turn my shoulders and my chest towards the leg that I'm going to stretch on. And I'm going to lay with my chest towards my knee, and I'm going to stretch out this leg, and I'm going to focus on this leg. So go ahead and turn your shoulders and lay flat as far as you can go. This is going to open up your hamstring. It's also going to open up your inner thigh muscles and your groin muscles. It's going to, you'll probably feel this into your knee, back behind your knee, and possibly even into your calf if you're very tight. That's where I'm feeling it today. I'm super tight. I've been sick, and so I haven't worked out as much, and which means I haven't stretched as much. If you sink deep enough into this stretch, it's very possible you'll feel this all the way into the back of the very top of your hamstring, where it connects to your glute muscles, and that is where I'm feeling it. When you're done with that, come up slowly and turn to your right. Lay your shoulders across, chest to your knee, and fold forward. It's also possible that you will feel this stretch in the opposite oblique, in your side. So right now, my left oblique is very tight, and as I'm doing this stretch, I'm feeling this stretch also in the left side, right above my hip, which is a good feeling. Now these muscles are the biggest muscles in your body. They do a lot of the work for you, so you want to take really good care of them. They're also key to your posture. I know a lot of people may not understand that, but a tight hamstring can hurt your posture, and it can also hurt your ability to move fluidly. So by stretching these out properly, you are going to improve your posture as well. So when I'm done with that, I will bring my right foot in. I will take my right arm up and over, and I will reach my right hand to my left foot. I will drop my right knee to the floor, and I will stretch out my right side. This will open up your hip flexor. It will open up your obliques. It will open up your latissimus muscles. You will feel this just about everywhere on your right side, which is a good thing. And just sink in and relax and enjoy the stretch. And I realize that some of you are simply just not as flexible as I am. So these stretches, when you first start, are going to be difficult for you to complete. And that's okay. You do your best. You do what you can do, And then you keep doing it every day. You'll get more flexible. You'll notice that you're not as sore. You'll notice that you feel more relaxed. You'll have better posture. You'll also have less inflammation of the joints, because when you stretch and you open everything up, you increase the synovial fluid in your joints, which means you're increasing the circulation in your joints, which will reduce the amount of inflammation. So if you're like me and you live with inflammation, you're going to see an improvement. And I have to be honest, that is my absolute favorite stretch. And when I'm done with that, I'll go ahead and I'll put my feet right back in front of me, and then I'll take my left leg and bring it towards me, bring it over my right leg, my left foot over my right leg, towards my glute. And then I will wrap my arms around my knee, sit up tall, and pull my knee into my chest and stretch out my glutes. And this is so important. Your gluteus muscles are the largest muscle in your body, and it's so important to stretch them out. They are connected to your back, they are connected to your hamstrings, they are connected to your hip flexors. Ultimately, it's all connected, and they will help improve your posture so much. They'll also increase your ability to be more fluid. Because we all know when we do leg day and we do a whole bunch of squats or a whole bunch of lunges or weights or running even, and we can't walk the next day, it's because our butts hurt. This will help. This will help release the lactic acid from those muscles. It will also improve the flexibility in your hip flexors and make it easier for you to do some of the exercises. Okay, so now that we've addressed all of those muscle groups, I want to address a very important muscle group that doesn't get addressed very often. A lot of times people worry about the hamstrings because if they're too tight, you'll pull a hamstring and you have a really hard time recovering from that. That's a very difficult injury to recover from. But if you do one side, you need to do the other. You know, if you stretch the right, you have to stretch the left. Well, if you stretch the back, you have to stretch the front. And so we need to take care of, and now I'm going to fall over. Let me find my balance. Normally I do this up against the wall, but if I did that, you wouldn't be able to see me in the video. So you want to stretch out that quad. So you're going to bring your heel to your butt, your knees together, and stand up tall. Now for some of you, this may be a real challenge if you have sore knees. Do your best. If you're really flexible like me, you're going to want to bring your heel out to the side of your glute, and you're going to really want to squeeze your knees together as you do this and push your hips forward. Okay, and then switch. It's way easier to do this up against a wall or a chair or whatever you can find. If you have a workout buddy, use your workout buddy. They got to be good for something, right? So they're there to support you. So go ahead and switch. Get that right leg going. And again, hips forward. Squeeze your knees together. And I do not grab my toes. I grab the top of my foot. I don't want to put any strain on my ankle or any extra strain on my knees. So this also helps open up your hip flexors because you're pushing those hips forward. So you want to open this up. Once I do that, then I'll do a calf stretch For a lot of people who are not flexible, a calf stretch where you go into a modified move like this and stretch this way is perfectly doable. It's something that they will get a good stretch out of, you know, just stretching this way. It's called a runner's stretch. But for someone like me who is very flexible, I need to get myself up against a door frame, and I'll take my foot up against the door frame like this and pull myself forward. You have to stretch those calf muscles. You use them more than you realize. And that is one of the muscle groups that gets missed all the time. And after that, then I just open up my shoulders with another good stretch like this. Open up my chest, pull my hands behind me, put my head up, open up my neck. And that is my stretch routine. I hope that helped you. I hope that you felt like you gained some information today. And if it helped you, please leave a comment below, like and share this video with your friends, with your workout buddy, with people who you think would benefit. This is also a good stretch routine for somebody who is getting older and would like to increase their flexibility. So go ahead and share this, and please leave me a comment on what you liked and what you would like to see in the future. Thank you.